snowboard school. Look, it is peak season for avalanches now, and I've been noticing in the news a lot of snowboarders getting themselves into some sketchy situations. But before we start ripping it up, you need to have some basic skills on how to survey the terrain to prevent avalanche triggers. At Flowing Freeride, we promote safety, and that's why we teamed up with the guys at the Utah Avalanche Center to talk about the avalanche red flags and online resources.
I'm here with Craig Gordon with Utah Avalanche Center, and we're just going to discuss some of the things that go on in the backcountry. A lot of his information that his knowledge that he has, that he's gained throughout the years. You know, I've been working up at the resorts for years, and a few years ago, I remember we had a heavy snowpack, and someone went outside the rope just a few feet, and they actually caused the avalanche to come in bounds because they went out of bounds under the rope, and they actually were able to, because it wasn't a huge avalanche, but people did get buried.
So if you see a set of tracks, you know, in just a couple hundred feet away from the top of a lift, remember, just because you can see the lift doesn't necessarily mean that it's safe. If you're heading outside the ski resort boundaries, you got to treat that just like the backcountry. You become your own avalanche forecaster, and that means that, again, avalanche avoidance, but then be prepared for your own rescue.
So when you're going out underneath the ropes, you're not only putting yourself in danger, you go get that fresh pow, you can cause a slide that can come in bounds, and you can hurt someone else. I'm here with Paul Diegel from the Utah Avalanche Center, and we're just going to discuss a few things about what we can do to be prepared in the backcountry. Can you tell me a little bit more about what the Utah Avalanche Center, or just the Avalanche Center, what it does for the public?
Sure. We're a pretty unique organization. We're a partnership between a nonprofit group and the Forest Service, and we provide the tools that backcountry users need to stay alive and make wise decisions in the backcountry. And so the whole idea of an avalanche class is we teach people about avalanches. I mean, we may be hot riders. We may have been riding our whole lives. We may be able to fire the double black diamonds. But without knowing the specifics of how avalanches work, we're kind of exposing ourselves, and we're bumbling into something we don't know much about. How could you and I talk each other into doing something stupid that neither of us would do on our own? We talk
That's
about...
what guys do, right?
Unfortunately, yes. You can kind of guess where this is going, is I went for another big ride in Alaska just a few years ago that really was scary. And again, I got really lucky. I walked away from it. But it really humbled me, and it made me realize that none of us are really experts.
That's where we created flowingfreeride.com.
You know, I think that's a super cool project, and I think there's a lot of similarities between what you do and what we do. You do it with riding skills, we do it with avalanche skills, and that's what makes for a fun day. I think the most important thing to realize is you can go from having a great day with your buddies just on top of the world to being in a nightmare that fast.
So if you haven't taken an avalanche course, which I strongly recommend, what are maybe 4 or 5 red flags that we really should look at?
Yeah. Well, of course, the biggest clue to avalanches is avalanches. Yeah, if you're seeing avalanches on the same kinds of slopes that you want to ride, they face the same way, they're the same elevation, they're the same slope angle, this is like Mother Nature's freebie. So what that means is either you tone down your objectives, or you tone down your slope angle, or maybe think about switching aspects, okay? And anytime I say aspect, that's which way, which direction the slope faces.
So with Flowing Freeride, we do have equipment and a safety section in every level, and if something were to happen to you and you get into an avalanche, you know, some of the things that we talk about for safety, if you fall, you want to get the board in front of you, just like if you were going down a river, you fell out of the boat and you were in rapids, you'd want to get your feet in front of you. So the best way you can, with either an arm to pivot or to roll around, get back onto your hillside so you're sitting, and the board in front of you as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Another big one is cracking or collapsing of the snow. So maybe you're walking on the snow, you're breaking trail, you take a step and you hear, whoomph. Yeah, right? Scares the heck out of you.
Right.
Yeah, it's strong snow on weak snow, which is always a bad combination in the mountains. And oftentimes, once we collapse the slope and we hear the whoomph, we'll see shooting cracks around us. Another huge red flag. A third one, of course, are strong winds. And winds transport snow about 10 times faster than snow just falling straight out of the sky. So if winds are picking up, remember it's going to take it from one portion of the mountain and deposit it to the other. This is going to be where it's going to be dangerous. So those are going to be the slopes that we need to avoid. And then also heavy snow. You know, I mean, it's snowing, it's blowing, it's storming out. You know that it's probably going to be a sketchy avalanche day. And also, if we see a rapid rise in temperature, often like we do in the spring, that's going to lead to elevated avalanche danger. And finally, remember I was talking about checking with your local advisory. So why that's key is because we issue daily advisories that our bottom line is going to be a danger rating, and that's going to be on a scale of 1 to 5. Kind of think of it like a traffic light. So you got green light, yellow light, red light days.
I know that there is the value of online training for professional step-by-step progression training. I found the need for it, and I've noticed that the Utah Avalanche Center as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Video is an amazing medium right now. So know before you go is just it's basic avalanche awareness for the masses. So it's kind of short on science, it's big on stoke, it's big on excitement.
Great, and that's know before you go.
You know, it's sort of your one-stop shop for all things avalanche.
Wait, it's been a great time chatting with you, Craig.
It has been a blast. Remember, at the end of the day, we can be out there, we can have a great time with our friends, but what we want to do is come home safely to our families.
Right. We hope this helps you out. Again, I do strongly suggest if you are going out in the backcountry to take a course, and we'll see you next time.